Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these twisted headbands, and same as my other two headband tutorials, these are all hand sewn. However, you can use the exact same stitch placement and make on a sewing machine, and if you're going to make these for sort of selling, then I would advise learning how to use your sewing machine instead of using the handmade method. Handmade methods is great if you only want to make one or two, and like I said, you haven't got a sewing machine, but if you're going to sell them, I would definitely 100% recommend a sewing machine because it will save you so much time and the quality will be even better than what I'm showing you, because like I said, the stitches will hold up, they will take some abuse, but like I said, the sewn ones will be 100 times better. So like I said, just so you know, and like I said, they'll be a lot faster. So as you can see, I'm using bullet fabric and I'm making adult versions, so I am using 20 inches. And I'm going to do some slightly wider ones because these ones I did 20 inches by 6 inches. I'm going to do 20 inches by 8 inches today because I want mine to be slightly wider, because these are about 2.5. I want to make a 3-inch one. And when you're cutting your bullet, I would always advise a rotary cutter, and I have the Frisco's rotary cutter and a self-healing cutting board, and I'll put a picture at the beginning of the tutorial so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me just get my right sizing. Just check my width. Yep, so this is my 8 by 20. And what you want to do with all of these when you first start sewing is you want to fold it directly in half so that your pattern's on the inside, because we'll do all of our sewing on this side with your dress pins, or if you're using the sewing machine you can use those little clamp things along. You just want to pin all the way along, 1/2 centimetre or 1 centimetre down for your stitch allowance. Okay, like I said, I won't show you that bit because it is a little bit boring. And the stitch we're going to use is the back stitch. And as you can see here, I've already done a line. It's not the neatest line, I admit. This is what they look like at the back. And I've got my little needle here to show you, because this is the stitch I'm going to do. So from above, we're starting . Excuse me, I'll just sort that. So you start from above, and then you want to go back where you originally started and go from underneath. Sorry, it didn't focus particularly well then. So from where you started, underneath, straight back up from below. Okay, where you started, same amount of spacing, so like 1/2 centimetre a stitch, so 1/2 centimetre for your original stitch, as you can see, 1/2 centimetre when you go up. So when you come up from here, that wants to be 1/2 centimetre as well, and you keep doing that all across here, all the way along. And then I'll show you the next bit, because even if you have a sewing machine, you do have to sort of hand sew the last bit once you put your twist in, because most sewing machines, because of how thick it is, won't actually sew for it unless you've got an extremely good quality sewing machine. So this is what your front tends to look like, and this is what your back will look like, and this is one of the strongest hand sewn stitches that you can do. So I'm going to pause. Well, I'll start my first stitch just so you can see. And I've got my extra strong Goodband thread. So this is it. It's called Goodband. I've got some links in my description box for it, and it's in black, and it's the extra strength one, and I always have mine doubled, and I am using a longer than average needle, which is about 7 centimetres. So from above, obviously you will have pinned yours, so I'm just gonna, and I'm using a very long length of thread. So first one in, from where we've started, back up that 1/2 centimetre, and what I do with my nail as well, take a pencil and mark 1/2 centimetre. Can you see where that is on mine? And that's what I use to get my placement the same all the way along. And if you are using longer thread and it's getting a little bit tangled, what you can do is you put your thumb here and when you loop it under, your thumb will stop that loop getting tangled. So I'll pause and do this bit.
Snoopy, I don't tell you I respect you a lot because...
So I'm back, and as you can see, I've done the stitch all the way along. So I'm just going to put my last 2 in. So back through, just going to line up my edges. And last one through there. And then I go back on that one and tighten it. And then I'm just going to do a couple of stitches off to make sure that this stays and isn't going to go anywhere. There we go. And then I can cut that bit off. And as you can see, I've done for me, I've done a fairly straight line and a fairly even amount all the way along. But I am going to trim it just a little bit. And I had to watch half an episode of Scrubs. That's how I time things with 20-minute sitcom episodes. Half an episode of Scrubs to put my stitches in neatly, tidily and evenly. Have to have background noise, as I'm sure quite a few of you do. So if you heard that little talk as I turn the camera back on, that will be what it would be. Okay. Just put that out the way. So like I said, just trim that down, make sure you don't go close to your stitches though. And then we are going to turn this. Okay, so we've sewn it and turned it the right way. So what we're going to do now is, with the seams on the outside, line it up so it's in the centre, so that that seam's right in the middle. And then I've got these bulldog clips, and I'm just going to hold that right there. And then we're going to do exactly the same this side. Get it so that this seam is right in the centre. And again. Clip the end. And then we turn it so that the seam's outside. So the seam is on the outside all the way across. And then take it, and you want this seam to seam, like this, and this is where the bit that you need to pay attention to. So this one, where the seam's facing you at the moment, that one goes back round like this, so again it meets the seam that we've got there. And this one, where the seam's underneath, we take that clip off, and that one comes round this side, and again you take it and you clamp it so it's all together, because we're going to stitch along here. But a way to check it before you sew it is if you flip it like this, you'll see where your join is, and you'll see that your seam is on the inside. So if you can do that, that's how you know you've done it right. Okay, so we're going to sew across here. And again, I'm still using my extra strong Goodband thread, and I'm going to be using the same back stitch method. It just takes a couple of minutes to do. And I was talking to you with my needle in my mouth, so apologies. Little terror for things like that, me. Just thread my knot. So yeah, you can see how much of that's like a centimetre of fabric there. So like I said, not all sewing machines can go through that. So like I said, make sure all your seams are together. Start from one side, whichever your dominant hand, and you want to go about 1 centimetre down. So all the way through everything. And up. and back where we started. Sorry, I know it's black thread and it's hard to see. Okay, from above, back where we started, from underneath, make sure you pull so you don't have any loops. Want it nice and tight and all together. So where you started, back up. Again, try and keep your stitches as similar sizes, etc. as you possibly can. And be careful of knots if you're using longer thread. As you can see, that's what I do with my thumb. So where we originally started, and from beneath, catch any pulls, back again. Okay, so that's one way across. What I'm going to do now is I sort of turn it back round this way and I go back the same. I don't stab through my fabric that side, I'll catch it in loops. I sort of go back the same way, only the opposite direction, so I sort of go so I'm basically going backwards, same stitch method, just from the right instead of from the left, if that makes sense to anyone other than myself. Just for extra security and to make sure that this bit doesn't come apart, because this would be the bit that would potentially come loose. And just so you know, I have a slightly bigger than average head. I have a wide forehead. So this 20-inch version still fits comfortably on mine all day with no headaches whatsoever. But it also fits on my sister, who's got a slightly smaller head than me, comfortably on hers as well. So it's sort of a one size fits all adult, unless you've got like an extremely, then I would just sort of add an inch. So once you're happy, I'm just going to do like a little stitch off. Through here. Try and make it as neat and tidy as possible. You don't want any like little loops or anything like that shown, because it just makes it look a bit unprofessional. So there we go. Once you're happy, cut that off. We can then take our clip off, and what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to trim this down a little. There we go, tidied that up. And this is what the inside will look like. And then when we flip it, there we go. And how pretty does that sugar print skull look? This is from Bow Perfect. Jo, who also does Love You Crafts ribbon, her bullet / leatherette materials that she does. So that's where I got that from. So pretty. And like I said, as you can see, this is 8 times 20. Gives you 3-inch wide. 20 times 6 gives you sort of 2.5. So you can play around with your measurements. If you wanted to do a 1-inch, obviously you'd do a 20 by about 5 sort of thing. So that would be about 2 inches. And you can just go smaller and smaller or bigger. So if you wanted a really wide one, you could do sort of 20 by 10. So like I said, play around with your sizes, play around with this. It does work. It will hold up. They do look super, super pretty. So like I said, But thanks for watching everyone, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!